He told her no when he should have said yes.
That's the size of it. Did all that with butter knife.
So how far, when did you have that done?
12 days ago on 6th, they taking care
About another 78 days from now, you'll be happy you did, okay?
Jake says we are live.
Okay.
All right,
These were called meeting order.
works for me. I knew I had to come with
This,
that.
well, we need to be clear, this is the public hearing on the ordinance. The proposed petition to annex the lake property into the town. And so, if that meeting is called to order, Mr. Chair, I'll address the public if that's okay.
Okay.
So, just for the record, under the annexation statute, we were required to publish the notice not more than 20 days before the hearing. I think it was 20 or 30 days. But anyway, it's filed on July 23rd. It was published on July 23rd, which was the proper time period. This is a public meeting. What that means is that the public has a right to be heard. So if you want to see if there's anyone here that has any objection or any comments in regard to the annexation, Mr. Chair, you can ask the public, or is anybody here to talk about this?
Anybody have any questions?
Anybody want to be heard? This is a
The only thing I would say, I'm not from out there, but why we just go there? Why?
No, I'm talking about Beams today.
Oh, Beans,
Yeah.
okay, I thought you meant this one.
Yeah.
It's just a park area that the town had purchased.
Yeah, I thought you were annexing the
No,
lake.
they wouldn't let us.
Yeah,
I think we tried that years ago.
yeah. I was gonna say, if you took a radius all the way around equally, it would be different. Okay,
Because try to get Luther's property here, he wouldn't let us.
is that right?
Yeah.
The total amount of acreage to be annexed, which is totally owned by the town, it met the 1/8 contiguousness of the existing town. The total amount to be annexed is 14.294 acres. If there is anybody here to be heard, you're welcome to close the meeting, and then I'll talk about what the next steps are.
You just had, we need to readdress that or anything?
We'll still have public meeting open. Anybody here to be heard in regard to the town's annexation of former Beams, the pond we got from the Beams family.
I don't care, sure. I said I don't care.
Okay, then you can close the meeting then.
All right, make a motion.
Second.
Okay, now do we have a motion to start our regular?
Yeah, we need a motion. Yes, call the meeting.
Okay.
Make a motion to start.
So we're in the regular meeting where the public has a right to be, to observe, but they don't have a right to be heard. So I've just addressed the board regarding what the next steps are. So from today's date, you guys already got a copy of the proposed ordinance the last time we were here. But from today's date, we have to wait at least 14 days before you can pass that ordinance. I think we already decided we're just going to do it at the September meeting.
Yep.
And then after you pass the ordinance at the September meeting, then it has to be published in the newspaper again, which my staff will take care of that. You have to wait 30 days from the date you pass the ordinance to see if anybody's going to file an objection or a remonstrance. If there's no objection or remonstrance, then at that point in time, we take it to the clerk's office and file it, and we take it to the auditor's office, and then it'll eventually get recorded by the auditor in the recorder's office, but that the auditor will use that to change the town boundaries to include the annexed property in the town. The ordinance does not become effective until 90 days after it's recorded, filed in the clerk's office and given to the auditor. So it would take effect, I think we said January would be its effective date. But there's after we take it to the clerk's office and the auditor's office, we don't have to do anything else. We're done, we just gotta wait 90 days. And then the auditor will change the town boundary with that annexation. Any questions? Okay.
We go back to the agenda here. We get a motion to approve claims.
I second. We also have, the allowance docket for payroll.
Make a motion.
I second. We have July, minutes. I second. So we've got claims, minutes, and allowance document. Next item on the agenda, on here. And, reference to water line extension on Hidden Hill Road. Hidden Hill Road.
Just wondering what could be done or how many, because I've discussed with you and a couple other people in person on trying to get the water line ran back there, me having to pay a certain amount of it and everything. I was just wondering how many houses, hookups, or revenue return needs to be in order to have a water line put there without me paying for the entire thing out of pocket. Was the main question I had for coming up here today.
Unfortunately, Paul isn't here. I can, I don't know what it, I can give you a copy of, the July, meeting minutes, that, basically he had brought it, to the council and said that it was, 3,000 feet, as far as line. And I guess using his, basic calculations as far as, what they use to, to see if it's justifiable or if they could, recoup that cost. And given the nature as far as the housing and everything around there, that it would be a substantial amount of time before, if at all, I'm saying, to where he didn't think that they could justify it as far as superintendent brought it before the board and the board agreed.
So I knew, as of now, with me being the only house, there's 2 or 3 houses and properties, but we had to cross 8 properties, I believe is what I counted. And I was wondering how many of those properties needed houses or people to say that they would hook onto in order for a line to get ran that would be a justifiable amount. Or if so, even if just me and the 2 other properties I already spoke with decided we would, how much revenue could actually be given to it instead of me paying for the whole thing out of pocket and not getting any reimbursement if somebody hooks on 3 days after the water line's put in. But,
Somebody hooked on to it, we had to reimburse you.
and see, that's what I brought up a while back, having something written up to where I'd be
But
reimbursed.
if you pay for a line, they can't hook into your line.
And that's kind of what I was that's where the gray area was, and I was confused by it.
But what his line versus us running line to there,
But big
we
man,
would be responsible for that, but he would be responsible for his.
right, but maybe for somebody, what, he paid for the line, somebody wants to look into it, they had to pay him or pay us and reimburse them. You know,
I mean, running it down to the meter, and the meter to his
Is the
house.
line gonna be on private property?
Yes.
For his hookup, it would.
For my meter would be set on my private property.
How much line is gonna be run over?
Would we come 3,000 feet?
3,000.
From where the line ends to my property line is 3,000 feet.
But
The town's extension to get to his property line is 3,000
Yes.
feet is what.
Is that down a road?
I mean, you
It's
know,
a county road, I'm not sure how.
you guys can negotiate what you want, but technically, if the town is installing the water line that's not on the property, it would belong to the town. If you wanna work some deal that,
But they said he had to pay for it,
I understand that, I understand that.
but he pays for it, it's theirs.
Yes, yeah, but you let me finish. If you wanna work out a deal to make it economically feasible for him to pay for it, that he gets so much for hookup, you know, because I'm assuming we have hookup fee.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can work, that's okay, but the line belongs to the town. So whatever you guys wanna do with him to make it worth his while, that's a different issue. What's gonna be the cost?
I think the roundabout cost was gonna be 30 to 40,000 with the estimate that I have, and that's give or take depending on how much rock we have to hammer through rock in order to go, because then it raises another 1,500 a day, I think.
That's big roads.
So it's about $100 a foot,
I believe, yeah, I believe so.
or $10 a foot, $10 a foot.
Man,
This area is known for.
I say,
It's
yeah, that is-
3,000
and I-
feet, so it would be, if it's, gonna be $30,000,
that'd be $10.
yeah, $10.
$10, yeah.
I mean, you guys, I don't know what you know, I'm not familiar with what area it's going to, what buildings might go in there or already there that will put a hookup to, the town water. That's just something you guys will have to work out, you know, but it would have to be, the agreement would have to be done in writing and in public meeting that he pays this, and then we give him so much. What's our hookup fee?
For a new meter is $1,500, a customer deposit is $100. But if there would have to be an additional roll for it, it'd be $550.
Okay, so you guys have to do what makes economic sense. I mean, obviously, he doesn't want to give you guys $30,000 or more and not have any benefit from it. And I don't know what makes sense economically.
It's
without
a
knowing-
beautiful area, and like he says, if it develops, you know, but right now, Paul, being the superintendent of the water, he's, by the equations that he has, there would be no way that we could recoup that cost in a timely manner. Is what.
I understand that. And I'm just giving you kind of the outline here, okay? I'm not trying to negotiate a contract because I don't have enough information, okay? But, there's a certain amount of benefit he gets from having water to his property, okay? But you also have about 3,000 feet that is just upfront cost that he has to get that. And, is the property that the water line is going to, is that something that would be developed in the future where you would add more houses on your property itself?
On my property, most likely not anytime really soon, at least. Not anything in the near future.
And then you would have to have, the agreement would have to have I mean, it would have to have a timeline on it, 10, 15 years, something, you know, if you you get, during that period of time, if there are any hookups to that water line outside of your property, that you get so much of the hookup fee. But it would have to have a sunset clause in it. Can't go be forever and ever will without me. Okay. But you just tell me what if you guys come to some, tentative agreement, you just need to let me know and I can tell you what I think it's okay.
I'm just like I say, reiterating what Paul had told me. But they're ultimately making the decision or.
And I've spoken to them, and like what you said, I understand that in the next however many years, his equation shows you can get revenue back, and I completely understand that. I was just wondering how many houses, because the cemetery there I've reached out to, they were interested. The other house, the guy acts like he's gonna put it for sale the next month or so I'm assuming whoever moves in may be interested. And there's 8 or 9 other properties that have crossed that eventually I look to see houses built on at some point. But it also may be one of those things of somebody's looked at building a house there and they're like, well, there's no water supply, we can't build there, we'll find somewhere else to move to. So I was wondering how many houses or what the revenue return needed to be in order for us to come to an agreement.
Well, I think it really becomes, I'm gonna flip that on you. I think you need to look at, because you're the one putting out the money. You need to look at what you think it needs to be, looking at a window of 10 to 15 years. So, because the town is getting a big benefit by having 3,000 feet of water line put in. How big is the line?
I think we quoted a 3-inch line is what was quoted to go through there.
Okay. I mean, you guys just need to come up with a proposed agreement and let me look at it. You need to do the math, and, because really the town, they don't have any investment in it, so it's really what do you need to get out of it to make it economic feasible. That's my take, okay?
Either that, or if we shared the cost and I didn't pay for it up front, how much could the town share cost with versus me paying in reimbursement? Or I'm just throwing the ideas out to get answers instead of just hey, no, there's no water line there, here's the bottom line, how much it costs, let us know if we want to run it. I was just trying to have a discussion and see what it would take to get a water line through there. How many houses?
Built on property yet, right?
Not yet, because I'm waiting to make sure I get water there.
That rock issue's a big variable, you don't want you to run an extremely extended cost around it. You get solid rock for a good ways,
I mean, I'm just an outsider, this is the first time I've heard about this, but I mean, even if it's $2,000 for a hook-on fee, even if they give him 100% of that, if there's 10 people, I mean, that's only a drop in the bucket to what his upfront cost is gonna be. So, I mean, I would think that there ought to be, if he's paying for all that, if somebody hooks on, they pay a portion of what he paid and he gets it back.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
like you said,
I
they
mean,
could probably do something like that in an agreement for a short period. But
yeah,
And that'd be an agreement, like you said, we'd have outside of this meeting and we'd bring back eventually. I just
But
see
as
more
far as
people.
for the town to be able to put that kind of money, it's just not there. That's, you know, what I'm saying, around
but I mean,
that.
if somebody hooks on at 2,000 feet
But
or they hook on
this
at
really needs
500
to
feet.
be the discussion between you guys and then bring a proposal to the board, maybe, okay?
Is there even a utility easement up that hill?
There's power lines through there, but there's no water stops at both ends of Hidden Hill.
If there's one, there's one.
Yeah.
This may back Paul out for extending water lines that we paid for to start with. Like, 300 feet, 500 feet. And go from there. What's the most we ever extend a water line for a customer?
So you want, with Paul not being here, I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously, if we invest any money, the less money we're gonna get back to him, because that's reduces his investment, but that's really, I mean, there's so many other different possibilities, you guys. That's something that needs to be discussed outside the regular meeting, and then you guys make a proposal to the board, and then they'll, obviously, they're gonna want me to look at it.
So for now, we'll just revisit with Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really need to have Paul in the group to discuss it.
And I'm still reaching out to the people who do own property to see if they're willing to share costs with me too, if I do pay up front. And they're going through, I just didn't have straight answers before I came here with that, but.
Well, if you come in and tell the board that, hey, I got all these people who are gonna pay these hookup fees, I mean, that gets factored into the agreement, okay?
But
Tell
we'll discuss it more out.
Tell the other owners how much it will increase the property value, maybe you'll get a nibble or two.
And Paul was planning on being here, but they had an issue, I think, he said changing out the sulfuric acid pump at the plant. So that's why he's not here this morning.
I guess that sounds like something that we could discuss when we have Paul here, you and Paul and us, to determine what we think would be an appropriate answer. Then we can give it to him, the property owner.
David, I guess we've got you next.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Yeah. I guess you asked me to be here about the firehouse.
Well, you wanted to know where we kind of
Yeah.
stood there.
Yeah.
And they're still working on the appraisals as far as trying to figure out how to extract the cost of the building off.
Well, I know at least, I talked to Margaret Schmidt, who's one of the appraisers on the bowling property down at the bottom of the hill and the firehouse, and he's working on some appraisals on the estate that I have, and I trapped him and got Wills on the phone and asked me where those were, the appraisals were, and he said they were on his desk, so I think we've lit a fire under him. But I don't know who to contact at 12 counties or whatever it is, appraisals.
It's Tony, and I thought I gave you his telephone number in our last meeting.
And if you did, I forgot. Let me look, I'll tell you. But anyway, I'll call him too and rattle a chain.
I mean, that's what, I met with that appraiser, it's been 2 or 3 months ago, so we just need to know what we're doing, so. And if y'all don't wanna buy the building, then let us know what the property's worth and we'll buy the property, possibly. You know, I know the price of a lot within the town is not that much. We just need to, I think, on your all side and our side both, we need to bring this to a head. It's been going on for years, but I guess years ago when it happened, the town never went to the step to transfer the property. They just said, yeah, build a firehouse if you want, there it is. So they never did get.
We're not gonna have it, I don't see it in our text, so send it to me, would you please? Well, we can't, our hands are tied until we get the appraisal, so.
Okay.
We gotta have 2 appraisals before we can even make an offer.
Okay. All right. All right.
Anybody else have anything as far as?
Well, one thing we were wanting to bring up, I don't know, we've talked about this for years, but is getting some fire hydrants.
We was talking about that last meeting, about putting one up above the grab and go and then run one down by the Dollar General.
Right, yeah. But, I know years ago, we were talking about like putting in one per year or something like that, but I mean, we went years and years and nothing's been added, so, we, would like to try to boost y'all to move forward on some of these if we could. So. And then they also was talking about moving the fire hydrant from down there next to the Legion over by the firehouse on the other side of the road, because it's over that hill, we can't really use it, so. But I don't know if anything's ever, not adding one, just moving.
That's the first I think I've heard of that one, I know where, what area you're talking about.
Yeah.
Moving it up like into your all's, whatever your lot there.
Yeah, right on the corner of that parking area that we got in the back, then we can fill from it. Right now, we can't fill from that.
Right, that way we're off the main road,
Yeah.
easy to get to and out of the traffic.
That was why they kinda did that, cause it's on.
Yeah.
Seen y'all down by the Methodist church yesterday, was that just testing and flushing and hydrants, or y'all feeling around?
For training,
I wasn't there. Is
we're doing some pump training.
And I know beforehand, when we got into the hydrants there, we have talked, I know, for the last 2 years on adding, but. I
Oh,
don't
we
think
were talking to Hugh 5 years before he passed. So, I mean, it's been on and on and on, so, we just, but the more hydrants we can get, I mean, we've been working real hard to get our ISO rating down, right? A big part of that, probably 40% of that ISO rating is water supply. And the more hydrants we can get, the more accessible to the water, it's gonna help the whole community. So, I mean, I know you're probably thinking, oh crap, he's back. But that's the reason we're pushing for this. I mean, we can drive wherever we have to go get water, but that puts our trucks on the road more liability as far as, like, we just had a truck crash. So, I mean, the more you're traveling, the more likely something's gonna happen, and that cuts down our response time tremendously. So we're trying to, I'll just let you all know, we're just cleared some property up by Lottie's Corner on Highway 11 that we're wanting to build a substation. So, which again, that'll help the ISO rating for everybody up within that area. So, would help our response time. So, that's one thing, if we sell this other property that we've been talking about, that money's gonna go toward building the substation. So, but that's one reason we'd like to try to bring this to a head a little bit, so we know what financing we got and how we can move forward on it.
Unfortunately, we really need to have Paul here for that discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
He's working on
Yeah.
a period of trial.
Yeah. I mean, how much does it cost to put in one hydrant?
15 to 20,000.
There. So, all right, so, I mean, like I said, if we can just get one per year, we have got nothing for 15 years, so, or more. So. And then what's the $5 facility charge? What's that supposed to go for?
Maintenance.
Maintenance, but it couldn't go to help pay for an extra fire hydrant. So, I mean, that's part of maintenance and addition, so.
I don't know where, like I say, Paul has that in the plan, and he does.
Yeah.
We've been replacing the meters throughout.
Yeah, which that helps you all, and your manpower, but it don't help the community. So, I mean, I'm all for getting the automatic reader, so I don't have to go crawl down the hole every month. But still, I mean,
But you've had meters that are so old that they're not keeping track to where there should be more revenue now.
Right.
Because of, they on that. But again, it's not taking care of you right at the moment.
yeah. Well, I mean,
It's not just things like that, I mean, it's a upkeep at the plant, our plant is now, what, 20 years old?
I understand, yeah.
30 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on.
So, I mean, I understand all this, but, you know, I mean, it's, the water company is supposedly for the community, and we're trying to help the community too.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on the, it definitely helps us on the insurance.
Yeah, it helps everybody,
All the way around.
all the way in both townships. And we just had a ISO, audit, so, you know, that's one thing, you know, if we can prove to them. I mean, it made a difference when we bought, and changed out some of our old trucks and bought new trucks, that's helped us. But it's only as good as how much water we can get to those trucks.
But when we had spoke before, David, did you tell me, or are we clear on if we are able to get this started and do one, where would it be at the 211?
Yeah, I think
gas
that's
station?
where we talked about down at the Dollar General first,
I
right?
say, one of those two would definitely need to be the first ones to go in.
Yeah,
Either
I think-
211 and 11.
I think I gave you a list, we're talking about the list of number 1, number 2, and number 3, right? And I think down to number 4.
I think Paul's got that.
Yeah, so we talked about it, Dollar General first, and then, 211 Food Mart,
Be the same.
and then going up to, I think it was there at, Glass Overlook, and, down right there where the old sand plant, right there. at that intersection.
Where they're building
Yeah.
the same way we discussed putting some back out.
And then the fourth one was out by Baker's Corner, right there where you turn on the road. I met with them out there and looked at that. Yeah.
And just,
It helps us a lot.
just to kind of mirror off of him while we're on the topic of hydrants, there's still several of them out there that are damaged and don't work, that haven't worked for a little while. And I know that's another discussion with Paul and scheduling, getting it fixed and everything. But even if we could get a timeline of when they're gonna look at certain ones, and even if it's later down the road, at least get them tapped out so we don't hook up to the 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get water and the stem just make full circles, because we've had that a few times. Because there's certain ones we brought up before, is that, hey, this hydrant's out, and they're like, yeah, we noticed that a while back, but there was no tag I'm working on it. So just kind of help us at, when everybody's half asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, go, hey, there's a hydrant, no, it doesn't work, go to the next one.
Right.
And then try to get that fixed as well.
You said you do have a list of those?
We did at some point. I know the one at the bottom of 211 is the obvious one. I think we had 2 or 3 of them listed up that didn't work. And some of them that are stuck because they haven't been greased or worked since they've been painted. I'm not sure if they greased them and worked them before they painted them or not, but some of them, they're still painted over the grease fittings. They've never been worked or anything, and some of them stick and you feel like you're gonna twist the stem off trying to open it.
That's what I was gonna say. I know that they finally have painted them all, and then, like you say, if they're not exercised, that's not helping you all.
Right. But like I said, when, you know, everybody's running crazy trying to get water to the pumper, and then we get to the hydrant and hook up to it, and it doesn't work, and we have to tear it down, move to another one. You know, it always takes time. Even if if we were kept informed of which ones that are out of service would help us, so we know ahead of time not to go to that one. It'd help.
And I believe we did have a list at some point, so if I find it, I'll reach out, get it with you, and if the ones we stumble across, I'll reach out, and we'll make sure both of us are aware of it at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, if you could get a list to both me and Paul or the girls to where, you know what I'm saying, we can get those, where you're definitely not wasting time on something that you can't use.
Yeah.
That's mostly,
Anything else?
We did it. Yeah, but we're done, right?
No, sure. Anybody else have anything?
There was a water corner of O'Bannon and 11. and they fixed it, and they said when it dried up, that they would smooth it out. And it's never been smoothed out yet, it's probably dry. They had some orange cones there for a while, I don't know if somebody stole them or if they just picked them up.
Okay.
But,
I know they were working on areas, they've gotten some topsoil, just a few days ago, so.
This is pretty high, it really just needs smoothed out.
Okay. Is it at your?
Yeah, it's there at the corner,
Okay,
about the stop sign.
okay.
Yeah, there was water leak there in the last few months.
How's the street lights working?
Yeah, they're in and on. So that was the first part of the old business of the lights had been installed there. I had, spoke with the people that live at the, address there on Main Street, on kind of sprucing things up. And then, the gentleman that, has the hotel, they did finally start, working on it. So it is being cleaned up there. Stop signs are in that we talked about in the last meeting. I haven't got them installed yet, but we do have them now. And then, Jeremy Ledford, the shop, teacher out of South Central, I called him to check because they, of course, had just started back to school, but, the last thing was, that I was aware of, that he was gonna get us a list of the materials that they needed in order to make the picnic tables. So I'll probably hear back from him, I would say later today. Like I said, Paul's not here to do the water report because of the issue there that they had at the plant. The cemetery, Lorraine Schickel, was the one burial that we had for the cemetery. Boarders went over the ordinance there, or not the ordinance, but the annexation. Is there anything else, Gordon, that you?
You reach out to Hayden's, that property,
Is on,
by me, it's all drummed up.
yeah. Trying to think of the last thing that the tenant that they have said that they are gonna be selling those properties. Nothing's,
Figured that. I want to
I
buy
haven't
the
seen
other
it.
property.
but I have not heard anything else, and I haven't addressed Caroline yet. So,
See the front door open again.
I don't know when, said, they told me, like I say, that that they were gonna sell it, so I don't know how long to, before we say anything on it.
But we're gonna include it in the property taxes. We already said you weren't paying for it, and they are.
So I'll reach out to her after the meeting. Anything else? Okay. Gordon, do you have anything?
No, I think I've reported on everything, well, actually, that's not accurate. Just talking before the meeting. I got a call from, or not a call, an email from the attorney for the Bowens down in 11, inquiring about, were we still interested? And I said yes. And what she told me was that Mr. Bowen had passed and that Miss Bowen wasn't doing well. Last time I told you guys, she had told me that neither one of them were doing well. She's since passed, so, and I told her that we were waiting on the appraisals. So, I I would lit a fire under Mr. Schmidt, I will light a fire under 12 county appraisals and find out.
And I'll get you that number.
I think the building being burnt down, it would be an impetus for them to want to sell, because they not have any income now from them.
What not, they don't have any income, and also now the house is actually a liability. because
Yes.
Whatever the land's worth, you gotta subtract the cost of demolishing the house and getting rid of the materials off of the property, so. But that's what the appraisers have to do.
And somebody put tape around there, and put a sign up to keep out danger.
Right. That may have been, I don't know, would that would be insurance, or did you all do that?
We did the fire tape the day of, but somebody yesterday added 2 strings of red danger tape around it, I noticed.
Yeah, they put a sign on
Put
the
a sign on the
steps.
front step of it.
I don't have anything else.
Do we want to make?
But, on the appraisals for the firehouse down here, I mean, what are we thinking by the next meeting, or? I mean, we need to move forward with this one, whether you all are buying it or we put it up for sale, so we need some kind of a time frame.
Well, if we can, all I can just put a fire under the appraisers, but my understanding is that the town wants the land.
And we own the building,
I
so,
understand,
yeah,
you
so we
can't use
need,
it for sale unless they agree to it.
all right, well, we need to come up with something this is.
We're working on
Right,
it. Okay.
so I've been working on it for months, so, all right, so,
We're not appraisers.
I know, but maybe you need to find another appraiser, so we just need to move forward on this one way or another. Either we buy the property or you all buy the building, so.
We can't do anything without the appraisals. We can't
That's what I'm saying.
list it for sale, we can't do anything without the appraisal.
Well, then, like you said, somebody needs to boost the appraisers up or get another appraiser.
You got very limited number of appraisers in there.
There's a lot more than what you're thinking, there's more than 2, I know. All right, well, that's another argument for another day. We just need to get something worked out. This has been going on for years, so.
If that's it, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second. We're gonna have to make sure that Paul, at our next meeting, discuss quite a few of these issues. And
I thought that he was gonna be here, and then like I said, he sent me a text at, 10:16,
I,
but he never gonna be here.
the meeting adjourned, so I guess I shouldn't want to say anything about the old fire building and property, right? Can I speak freely or what?
Speak for them.
We get the appraiser, get on the job, get it appraised, I'm all for selling it to them.